Not a great day. We're a little disappointed like everybody, but because it's a short week, we got to put it behind us, put it in the rearview mirror and move on. So with that, I'll open it up.
Coach,
That's great, no question.
Coach, does it get frustrating at all? I mean, you guys get some takeaways and then other times it's not so good. I mean, is it all frustrating?
Yeah, it is a little bit. I remember, I'll share this with you. It was one of the years we were in Philadelphia with Jim Johnson as the coordinator, and we went through a kind of a dry stretch, and his point was, you know, they usually come in bunches, and they truly do. I'd like them to come in a lot of bunches, but I did think we made two really good plays on the football yesterday. C-Dub had one, and Juan obviously had a really good play. We'd like to be getting more of them. We thought, I mean, the first play of the game was pretty exciting, kind of got us rolling, but then it changed. I'd like to see a little bit. I do think, I mean, I watched the film early this morning. There were a number of times we got the ball on the ground. Now, I think one time they called him down. Then we ripped it out another time. It wouldn't have been a fumble, but it's good to see that the ball was coming out. Hopefully, somewhere along the way, they'll become turnovers for us.
You know, Juan's interception, yardage-wise, you would have been in better shape.
Yeah.
You just knocked it down. Is that something that you
That's a good point. It's a great point. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When he caught it, I was fired up for him to catch it too. You know, then quickly, when I realized where we were, we now had the ball, and it was fourth down. My guess is that it would have taken a real savvy veteran that's been back there for a long time, you know, that all registers, to knock it down. I just think it was really good job covering. We were in man. They caught us in man. They took a shot. I don't think that's really what they wanted to do, but they saw an opportunity, and one took it away. So I was happy for him to have done that. But your point is a good one.
Looked like you guys were trying some new things with Clark, a little bit more on the left, switching sides. How did that go on your second?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it started. We're trying to get him in as many good situations or places as we can. Now that takes a little bit of work, guys moving, but we'll do that as much as we possibly can. We want him to be comfortable where he is.
Everybody seems banged up right now, week 7. Is he all good? Is he good to go?
Well, you'd have to ask him. I mean, look, he's a warrior, so he goes. But I'd be willing to say that there's a lot of guys out there with a nick and a bruise and a bump, and they're fighting through things. And you can see it on the sidelines. The guys hang in there, and they keep going. I'm proud of them in that regard.
Steve, how much are you concerned with play on the perimeter? Primarily,
yeah.
It seemed like Houston found a rhythm in the flats where, you know, a linebacker or defensive back has to make a play in space. Just how concerned?
Yeah, the missed tackles, and I'm with you. There's a concern there. Look, we talk about it all the time. You get to this point of the year, it's really hard in a practice setting. We don't tackle live, so you do as much as you can. I think the guys feel just as bad about them as anybody. We want to make those plays, and if you don't make them on the edges, they turn into, there's one I can think of that would have put us in a 3rd and 6 or 7 and ended up being a first down. That's tough. We're having a hard time getting to 3rd down. That's what's frustrating. I mean, we take a lot of pride as a group in a 3rd down package that we'll put together every week because you need to get stops. But you got to get them into those 3rd downs, and you want to get them into unmanageable 3rd downs from their perspective. And we haven't done that quite as good as we want to. But we're going to keep working at it.
You mentioned before, like, the idea of how Jim Johnson said, you know, things come in bunches and there's ways to get out of it. Do you feel like in some ways that you may have to be more aggressive in terms
in the
of
play calling?
In terms of play calling, blitzing, just doing something that you haven't necessarily shown.
Well, to be honest with you,
in the downs to get to 3rd down.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you may not feel it or see it, but there are quite a few. Coach Reed and I talked about that last week. And so the opening calls in this game, there were running plays, so they don't look like blitzes to you, but they actually were. And so there were more aggressive downhill calls in there. And we have talked a lot about that. It's a good point that you're making, and we want to do that as much as we can. Now, that can always also bite you too, so you got to be a little bit careful. And when you talk about the edges, and what you were talking about a little bit earlier, when you do play man and you bring people, add a couple extra people for whether it's run or pass, and then it does spit out, there's not as many bodies out there to make a play. So we kind of we weigh that both ways, really.
You talked
And a lot of us, I guess, have talked about how it's logical to expect this defense to get better, new scheme
Yeah.
and stuff. It's not so early in the season now.
No, it's getting in there, yeah, to the thick of things.
What's your level of concern there? Is this later than you expected to?
It is. I mean, look, there's just one area that we don't feel great about, and it's in stopping the run, obviously. So we'll continue to work on that. I will say this is in no way an excuse, but I do feel like the last two teams we played are pretty good offensive football teams. And what makes it a little bit extra tough with those teams is the quarterback can also beat you with his feet. Both those guys could. And this guy was, I thought, really good this past week, too. So it brings an added element in there. The one thing that we needed to get better at yesterday early in the game was our eyes. And sometimes when you have a quarterback that can do those things, your eyes tend to wander. And that happened a little bit. And it took us a little while to get used to that, and then we didn't do a great job with it. I mean, I thought the way we went in at halftime, we were down by 5 points. You know, when I talked to the defense, it was like, is there anybody here that doesn't think we can come back from 5 points? And everybody was confident that we were going to come back. And, you know, it wasn't like it was perfect when we went back out there, but when it was all said and done, we gave up one touchdown. Now, there was a long drive there that we got stopped at the end, and sometimes you have to do that. I mean, teams are going to drive it in this league. You got to play good red zone defense, and we got a little bit of that in the second half. But we certainly we don't really want to be looking at the numbers of run plays and the yardage that they're putting up in runs. And somehow, some way, we got to figure that out, and I think our guys will do that. That'll be a focus. It's a short week. I'm sure Denver will look at the film and try to do the same thing. So until we stop it, we're going to see it.
Are you 100% sure? Do you have the personnel?
Yeah, I mean, look, I love working with these guys. If you were in my shoes and saw the way they work every week, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks now we've been focusing on that. And again, you can't live tackle, we're not in the whole thing. But for what it is we can do, they're doing it and more. They care about it. I can work with guys like that. They care, they're passionate, they hurt as much as anybody. They want to get it fixed. Sometimes it takes a little while. We'd like to get some guys back that were dinged up. That would help. But aside from that, everybody gets hurt in this league. You know, so you got to go out there and play, and that's what we'll do. We'll line up again Thursday night.
So would you say it's more just beating yourselves, other than just teams coming in being flat out better?
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know if it's beating yourselves. It's look at. I said this last time. If I sit down and look at the 40 some odd run plays, there's something here, there's something there. Somebody's just missing. Now, look at one of the things that came back was the missed tackles. We got to make tackles. We got to make those tackles. That would help a lot. And getting off blocks and fitting blocks right is usually what squares it away. But we did, going back to your point, I mean, there was a conscious effort there with Colts to do some things a little bit more aggressive. I think it helped us early. And then they started to run a couple of different plays. The quarterback, I tell you what they were really good at. When we brought some of those that we're talking about, they just pulled it out and threw it, the old RPO. You know, and so there was a little bit of that, and that's okay, you know, as long as the RPO wasn't going for 20, 30 yards downfield, which it didn't, but it did keep the drive going for them. And that's what's really challenging about those kind of offenses in this league now.
So much talk about this being a passing league now and how run defense isn't as important as it used to be.
Yeah.
Can you talk about just the impact it can have when you can't stop the run?
Yeah, those words are hard to come out of my mouth because it does begin there. Now, look, you can't just concentrate on that because you will get ripped on the back end. But yeah, it is frustrating. We do take a lot of pride. Look at run defense or a run play against a defense is mano y mano. You know, that's what it is. It's line up, knock you off the ball, somebody's coming at you. So as a defensive guy or players, you have a lot of pride in not wanting to lose in that particular part of the game. We need to get better at it.
I know you might have been busy and have no idea what I'm talking about, so feel free to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But the call that they made on Travis Kelce, where the interception that Patrick threw, and there was a flag, and then they picked the flag up because they said, well, one throwing to him, and then the ball had already gone in the air. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not privy to that play.
Okay, so you didn't. Like I said, I know you're busy doing other things, but I didn't know. Have you ever heard a description, or was there conversation about how that works? Because they said basically the ball was going someplace else, and it came.
Was it challenged? Did we challenge it, or did they?
It's not challengeable
They
because
said
it's not technically pass interference.
It's just something I'd never seen.
Yeah, I don't know the play. I don't know. So pass interference was not called,
Right.
and we thought it should have been called.
Well, they seemed to acknowledge that he was taken clear to the ground, but they said the ball wasn't going to him.
Was it uncatchable?
Was called.
They picked up the flag.
Yeah, they picked it up.
I got you. I didn't see the play. I probably can't even comment on it.
Just,
I just,
yeah, just here.
I obviously didn't see it because we were talking about, but
Okay.
hopefully they got it right. Thank you.